Here's something about American government and how it functions that people almost never think about. But when you do, it explains a lot about what we see and what we encounter with the government. So most power in this experiment that we call the United States government doesn't come from what the Constitution allows government to do. It comes from what it doesn't forbid the government from doing. And so the Constitution is a very short document. It doesn't try to spell out everything. It just sets boundaries and then leaves a lot of space inside those boundaries. And so over time, Congress and the courts have filled that space in. That's why you'll hear arguments like, where does the Constitution say the government can do this? And sometimes the honest answer is it doesn't say that they can, it just doesn't say they can't. And that's where the premise of their argument rests. And so legally, that silence matters. A lot of modern government operates in that space. Agencies exist because Congress created them. Programs exist because courts allowed broad interpretations of congressional power. None of it requires a constitutional amendment because it fits inside the outer limits that the Constitution sets. This is also why debates today feel so abstract. People aren't just arguing about policy. They're arguing about how much room the Constitution has left for interpretation in the first place, in those confines, in that boundary. And now some people see that flexibility as strength. It lets that system adapt without constantly having to amend the Constitution or add things in or rewrite things. But other people have the exact opposite argument. It looks like an out of control drift, power expanding, not because anyone voted for it, but because no one stopped that power from moving. And so what's important is understanding that this tension isn't new. It's been there since the beginning. The Constitution was never meant to answer every question. It was meant to set the rules for how we argue about those unanswered questions. And so once you see that, a lot of modern political conflict just makes more sense.